I'll try and grow it out a bit like Bill Bailey.
Oh,
Grow a
amazing.
skullet.
You need to skull it.
Oh, and one strand combed over. Oh.
Welcome back to the Lose to Win podcast with myself, Josh, and Ben. No Jack this week, but we have a special kind of crossover episode as such, where we welcome the guests from 23 MPH.
Oi, oi!
Hey!
Big up.
I just went in, sod it, let's have it.
Good Lord. Good evening.
Yeah, normally we're a little quieter than that to start. But thanks for coming, lads, to this one, and thank you for having us. So, how are you guys doing, first and foremost? How have you been?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you very much. Although I've been absent from football for the last 3 or 4 weeks, just for circumstantial reasons, so I've missed your beautiful faces. I haven't missed Steve giving me a bollocking on the scales. So
You had 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just so circumstantial. I haven't been able to get down there, so it's just one of them things. But it looks like it was a good end to the season, no less.
Yeah. Does he actually give you a bollocking on the scales? Because he doesn't do that with me, I tell you.
No,
he just lets me get on with it.
No, he doesn't. He's the best coach. He always guides. He never gives you the disappointed look.
Well, I did say to me the other day, do you need me to give you a kick out the arse? And I was like, yeah, go on then, give it a go. See how he does. He's yet to start. Let's just say that.
I can't even imagine Steve saying arse. let alone like give you a kick up the arse.
No, that's a good point. I get the disappointed look sometimes.
Not this season.
Connor's nodding as well. Yeah. No, to be fair, I've been pretty good this season.
I've been on the end of a disappointed stare from Steve. Although not as bad as Anthony at one point, where Steve had to sit him down and check his tracking and make sure he's on the right track. I think that's when you know you've put on weight week on week.
Yeah.
I got a friend who plays in the pool league, and he's been doing it like consistently for maybe 8 months, 10 months, and apparently Dan had tried various times to get through to him because he just never ever lost any weight in the entire time he was there, and it got to the point where Dan had to like bring in like the fucking regional coach or whatever and be like, I think we need to have a conversation about this because, but you know, I think some people are there for, obviously the losing weight is a massive part of it, but also like just playing the football and it being really good for you mentally.
Of course.
It is, yeah, but they did have to.
I love the fact that Dan felt the need to bring in reinforcements, though. Like, it's quite David Brent-like, isn't it?
Some people respond in different ways, though, don't they? I mean, we spoke about it before. Some people need the softly, gently approach, and some people need a proper like kick up the arse to get it done, and they just react better that way. So it's quite good to be able to as long as you can gauge which is which, you're probably okay. If you can't and you get it wrong, then you're probably not going to last too long as a coach.
Very true, mate.
So anyway, anyone who's listening to us and what we're doing here, if you hadn't guessed, we are doing a mashup Christmas edition of the Lose to Win podcast and the 23 MPH podcast. So Josh and myself are going to be doing our little bit to start with. Then we're going to segue beautifully in to the 23 MPH pod, and those boys are going to give us a bit of a grilling probably. But for any of our listeners who don't know 23 MPH, lads, do you want to give us a bit of a lowdown about what you guys do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started our mental health podcast as a kind of offshoot of Lose to Win, really, because you kindly hosted Jimmy and then myself on the podcast, and we talked about our own journeys, and I think there was a combined sort of Venn diagram, if you like, of Jimmy and our thoughts around the footballing, weight loss, mental health thing. And Jimmy and Connor already had talked about setting something up. So we were really mindful of not wanting to tread on your toes and utilise actually some of the stories within the Man v Fat community in Bournemouth to talk more about life off the pitch, and the off the pitch and off the scales, and about the mental health positive impact and the negative things and the support that some of the guys need in life in general, just as the football being the catalyst rather than the topic.
Yeah.
We've done 12 episodes now. We'd like to make them more regular as we go into 2025. But the thing that I think is, and I'd pass over to Jimmy before I take Jimmy's thunder, the thing that's really important is just opening up channels of communication and chat between lads, night or day. You know. So Jimmy, over to you if you want to pick that up.
Well, I think actually, interestingly, that would be a good thing for Con to say on it, because Con, you've spoken quite openly about how surprised you were and like how surprised you were. I can't think of another way to word it. The way in which like people have, and I say quite often how people have been willing to like grab the ring and run with it. I don't know if you've got any thoughts, Con. Like I say, you've spoken quite openly about how surprised you were and how that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'll say I was skeptical at the beginning when you said you wanted to do this, because I genuinely thought that people wouldn't want to talk. And I don't know if that's, more of a reflection on myself, that I couldn't imagine myself really, talking about it as much as I have done. But I find the fact that there's a bit of disconnect there. Like, I could never sit down and have a heart-to-heart with people, within my family, that I can have on here. And I know that people watch it. I know I've got the cook at work, Gaynor. She watches it. She's my number one fan, bless her.
Big up, Gaynor.
Big up, Gaynor. And, it's crazy because before starting this, I couldn't talk to her about it. But since I found out that she does watch it, every time I go in the kitchen, we have a little chat about it. She knows people within her family that struggle with it, that can't talk about it. So yeah, no, she's a massive fan of what we do. But yeah, definitely people talking has surprised me. Yeah.
I think it's nice to give the boys the platform to be able to come on and do that, and especially as you started off sat in your shed in the nice summer months, all sat in your lovely So not a shed, is it? It's a summer house, and it's a very lovely summer house.
Right. It will make a return. It will make a return.
Good.
It's a bit cold and it's got a bit of shit in it at the moment.
Let's be honest, storage summer house.
It is a storage requirement, but it will make a return. Ollie for the umpteenth time.
Yeah,
# bring back the shed. So yeah, it's a character in its own right, and it does need to be brought back to the fold.
Well, it's certainly something that has resonated. Get my words out with the lads from the football, but obviously a wider demographic of people as well. It's obviously reaching other people. So you're obviously there's a thirst for it and a need for it, and we certainly appreciate what you guys are doing with it, because I know you've been featured recently in the Mavi Fat on their sort of email and their what do they call it, magazine. I guess it's a magazine, isn't it? Online magazine. You guys are featured, so you're doing the right things, lads, and it's a very, very honourable cause, and quite close to our heart as well. So I think it's a great thing. So well done, amazing. And thanks for having us come and combining and doing this.
Yeah, no drama at all. It's an obvious thing to do. We teased the fact that we had a Christmas special coming out, and hopefully this has exceeded the expectations of those who were desperate for some big surprise positive news. Here we are. This is it. This is the surprise.
A load of fat lads in Christmas jumpers.
Yeah.
I must say Ben especially, it's great for you to take time out of this really difficult month, being an elf as you are, to join us this evening. Yeah,
I'm actually roasting to death. I'm sat next to a radiator, and my wife's got the heating on full blast, so I'm literally just melting.
For those listening only,
QPR jumper.
Yeah,
you didn't have to wear the QPR jumper.
No, that's true, but I did because it's Christmas.
But I think, to Jimmy's point, for those who are listening only, Ben's rocking these headphones that look particularly pixie-like.
No, I was just on about how short
good quality, mate. AKGs, these. That's just the hat, man. I'm sweating like a pig. It's all right. Good for weight loss, right?
Good, yeah. So that's us. How are you guys?
We're good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't speak for Josh. Josh, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, we're doing well. Yeah,
We're good.
Well, the run up towards Christmas for Man v Fat is always a strange time, isn't it? Really, and the coinciding with the end of the season, as we'll come to shortly, is always an interesting one. But yeah, it's good.
And you say that sort of because we're all getting into the Christmas spirit and there's Christmas parties and that kind of thing. Is that the angle you're going?
Well, a little bit, yeah. Also, just how it works out at Man v Fat itself in terms of weight loss and how the league rolls on, etc. So yeah, a little bit of both really. Christmas parties does have its effect, shall we say. So as we all know, we've all been there. I don't know how many of you guys had Christmas parties.
I
last
wasn't there.
weekend
Who was at the Christmas? The Man v Fat. The Man v Fat Christmas drinks on Saturday. Anyone there? Josh, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there.
Was it good? Was anyone else there? Any of you boys there?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
No, I was at my work's Christmas party, unfortunately, so I couldn't make it down.
Yeah,
no, I had an event up in Berkshire, so I couldn't make it.
I just don't like you guys. No, I'm joking. I see my grandparents.
So you're the only one, Joshy. How was it? Was it a good night?
No, it was good. Yeah, it was a good night. It was I don't know, about 20 of us or so, not too many, but
nice.
it was still pretty good. Good chat. I just have a few drinks. I managed to get some darts going after a few pints, which is probably not the best idea, but it was.
I feel like darts is one of those ones you have to be drunk to play. Like pool, you get better the more you drink, the better you get. Pub game.
No, it was good. It was just good to relax in a different environment. Not on the sidelines of a football pitch. You still chat in the same way, but it's just a little bit, more casual almost feels.
We should definitely try and put something in the calendar next year because it's hard to get everyone together around Christmas, but it's really nice to have a big Man v Fat social. Shall we dive into the roundup of the season?
Let's do it.
Sure. We'll start with the roundup of last week, I guess. As Steve likes to say, and his roundup, I am taking it from him, as I would just like to say. Again, it's the once every few months I remind the audience that I don't write any of this at all. Steve does, and then he moans at me when I miss something that he considers very funny out of the roundup. Anyway, ring out the Christmas bells, or ring in the Christmas ringers. We had quite a few of them. The last week of the season saw more players missing than usual. Normal, I guess you get at this time of year in particular. But those who were there served up a festive feast of football to cap off the fantastic season. So just a general on the results. Us Yellows lost 9-6 to the Blues. The Greens lost 17-5 to the Reds. A pretty big haul for the last game of the season. Match beating everyone this week. The Purples won 16-6 against the Whites.
Sorry.
Yes, we did.
The Oranges won 15-14 in a close one against the Blacks.
Close one.
That kind of result jumps out as such, with the Scales champions Oranges edging the pitch champions Blacks. Their quartet of last man standing survivors providing the decisive goals. Both teams were outshone on the night by the Reds, whose 17-goal haul included 5 hat-tricks, and the night's only official milestone. So there were 2 fallers at the final hurdle in last man standing, leaving 8 players to make their way undefeated through the entire season, which is a very good standard. 8 players, very good going, especially at this time of the year as well. The outstanding octet were Matt Waterman from the Purples, Harry Reid and Josh Buxton from the Blues, Oscar Selleck from the Blacks, Adam White, Gareth Hensby, Pete Courage, and Rav Nath from the Oranges.
Well done.
So pretty impressive. Of the 8, only 3 went through the entire season without using their Grace Week, which puts them ahead of the other 5. Rather than invent another tiebreaker, we're declaring that 3 of them are joint winners as such. So a huge congratulations to Matt Waterman, Harry Reid, and Josh Buxton.
Great work,
in Matt's case, it's an unprecedented second win for Matt Waterman, as he becomes the first man to successfully defend the last man standing title, which means, excluding a friendly week, he has lost every single week for the past 2 seasons.
He's actually lost every single week that he's ever been a part of the league. There were like 3 or 4 weeks that he was in our old Blacks team.
I missed that team.
Oh, what a team! Yeah,
Oh, geez. Yeah, so that was I'm gonna have to try and say something to Steve now we get to the next rotation. Put us back together. OG Blacks.
Yes, please.
Yeah. 15 hat-trick heroes on the last week, rounding off the season in style, and the only milestone this week but it's a historic one for a club. So Tony Wright only joined in week 8, but his steady progress since then, he's lost weight every single week, by the way, was rewarded last night when he broke through the 5% barrier. It's a great individual achievement for Tony and a special moment for the club because as a result, for the first time ever, we have had an official milestone to celebrate in every single week of the season.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
29 different players, more than a third of the club, have recorded milestones, with 41 official milestones achieved, plus a handful of unofficial ones for players earning more than 2 in a season.
Amazing.
So we've also seen, our biggest ever collection of new BMI bosses, with 4 players going into maintenance this season: Matt Young, Gareth Hensby, Matt Waterman, and James Hunt, reaching their healthy weight in the last 14 weeks. So it's phenomenally well done.
Yeah, crazy.
That one. As well as being a phenomenal personal achievement by those concerned, it's also a compelling proof that Man v Fat works when you work it, as we say all the time. So a massive congratulations to them and everyone who's had a milestone this season.
Yeah.
To break another record, it seems we keep going every single season. It wasn't our best week of weight loss last week, but this close to Christmas and overall loss, albeit just 0.8 kilos, is nothing to complain about. It leaves our season total at 210.5 kilos, or about 4.5 Kylies in Steve's measurement. I'll have to get him on here someday and explain where the Kylie measurement came from.
I don't think I want to know, mate.
No, he explained it.
There's some darkness in there.
The weekend. No, it wasn't dark. It wasn't dark. Well, maybe I'm giving it away. He'll have some innocent excuse,
I'm sure,
and then a not so innocent excuse, which he won't share, I'm sure. So, anyway, so he did tell us about it. I can't remember precisely what he said. It's the where the Kylie came from. Anyway, although we fell away in the final weeks, finishing about 20 kilos short of our best ever total, which was in season 9, it's still a remarkable amount of weight to shift in just 14 weeks, and something we should be very proud of as a group. Indeed.
Awesome work.
Yeah.
Team of the week then. Oscar Selleck-Pili is the only player to remain from last week's Team of the Week, and he celebrates his 3rd consecutive week by claiming the top spot for a hefty 2.2 kilo loss. So the lineup is as follows. So Oscar lost 2.2. I myself lost 1.9 kilos.
Well done, Josh.
John Logue lost 1.7 kilos. Eddie White lost 1.6 kilos. Chris Malone lost 1.4 kilos. Paul Gibson lost 1.3. Bill Core lost 1.3. And Harry Reid lost 1.3.
Nice.
I should just say, by the way, he's not listed in the Team of the Week, but a massive shout out to Josh Buxton because who didn't make it, but a very rare occurrence that it is he didn't make it, obviously, but he broke the season weight loss record here at Man v Fat. Bournemouth.
Nice.
I'm going to have to get it up, but I'm pretty confident it was 28.3 kilos or so. He lost 28.2 for the season.
Record previously held by whom? Was it Mike Welch?
It might have been. I'm not 100% certain on that one. I'll be really honest.
Because Mike left, or it could have been. It wouldn't have been Matt Waterman, would it?
Not for overall weight.
No. We've had a 20 plus kilo season by one person before. I'm pretty confident since I've been here. I'm pretty confident. I just can't remember who, if I'm really honest. So apologies to the listener out there. If you remember, please tell me. But 28.
That is insane, though, Josh. Fair play to Josh. That's some fucking number in it. You imagine, can you imagine carrying around nearly 30 bags of sugar just all the time?
His mobility it has improved immeasurably. Just like the eye test on the pitch, incredible.
Yeah. Really noticeable, isn't it?
I think it's phenomenal. It is as you said, really noticeable as well on him in terms of not just him moving around, but physically you can see it on him. That shirt he was wearing when he started now, He needs to get some new shirts, mate. It is massive now. Just a huge credit to that. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
and as we mentioned at the top as well, that's every single week he's lost weight as well. So massive, breaking records, indeed. So that's another season finished in style. With lots of us making great steps forwards in our respective journeys to a better, healthier life. Sadly, a few of us have let us know that they are stepping back from the club from the new year. And we're sorry to lose them, but their departure is someone else's opportunity as such, or at least if we've got a friend who's ready to lose some weight, now is the perfect time to start nagging them to sign up. Because in the new year I think we always say this, I used to say this anyway, so it may just be me, but if you're this time of year and you're thinking about what you're going to do in the new year as your resolutions, what you're going to do in terms of losing weight, which is commonly top of most people, quite a few people's list, not always, but quite a few people's list, I think the common thing to do is, I'll sign up to the gym, I'll go down, etc. Truthfully, going to the gym on your own isn't always pleasant. Most of us have probably been there. But the main thing after that is that you want to go with someone. So you always think, I'm going to have a mate who comes down to the gym with me to make it worthwhile. And then 2 months in, you might stop going. I have a sneaking suspicion that will not be the case with Man v Fat, because it has the biggest component that a gym doesn't, and that is community. In terms of seeing people every week, going down there, and then what makes you come back every single week. And so for me, if you're ever thinking about joining or losing weight in the new year and you're thinking about what to do, don't spend your money on a gym. Come down to Man v Fat, give it a go, and I'm telling you, you'll not be leaving. At least from my experience. And if you do, it'll be a very short period, I'm sure. He'll come back, because it's absolutely amazing. So that's all I can say, really, to anyone who's considering it out there, or who's got friends who should consider it, in my opinion.
Or you might cancel your membership on a Saturday and then reinstate it on the Monday.
So one of the people that left actually was you, Jimbo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
On the Friday. Left on the Friday, came back on the Monday?
He ain't Jesus.
Well, he is, because he was born on Christmas Eve. You might not know this about Jimbo, right? But his birthday is Christmas Eve, and he was born at what time, Jim? 11 o'clock at night?
It might have even been a little bit later than that.
There you go. So he is the second coming.
But I did. I thought about it a lot as well. It's not just like on that Friday I was like, I'm going to leave. Like, I had thought about it. I mentioned it on the pod that we put out this week as well, that we recorded last week, and I just had so much going on, and I was like, and I've always flitted with this idea of I've tried everything else, or I've tried to change everything else, and it's not worked. So maybe if I stop the football, that's just one less thing for me to worry about. And I'd always sort of talk myself out of it, or someone else had talked me out of it. And this time around, I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to take a couple of months off. And then I let you guys in the Purple chat know. And there was a sort of outpouring of love in there. And I had messages from people out of the captain's chat when I let them know. And then out of the main chat when I said that I was leaving. And then I thought, on that Saturday, I cancelled my membership on the Saturday. And then on the Monday, I emailed them and was like, actually,
please take me back.
But like, even then, like, there's positives and negatives to that. Like how I because then in my head I was like, I really don't want people to think that I was like, just say you're gonna leave as like a beg for attention. Like, do you know what I mean? But I did, I think the.
So we spoke about it, and it was clear that you had thought very hard and long about it. So I mean, we didn't push it. We said that you got to make the decision. It's entirely up to you, and we're here for you. Whatever you need, not a problem. Anytime, just give us a shout. We're obviously sad to see you go, and we didn't want you to go at all, but we respected your decision and respected the reasons for why you did it. So, of course, a couple of days later coming back, happy days. There's no, it's like, it's life. It's like I said to you at the time, the decision you made at that time was the right decision for you at that time, but you're entitled to change your mind. People do, and that's not a bad thing. It clearly dawned on you once you'd done it and you then had to process what had happened. You clearly thought, actually, shit, I've made a mistake. And fair play. Doesn't matter, mate. We're back, and we're happy to have you back. You have, though, stepped down as vice captain, right?
I have, yeah. So Super Matt is going to take the reins on as vice captain. I don't know. I don't actually necessarily think that that being vice captain was a part of my stresses, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because, I was going to say it's easy under your leadership then, Ben, but I don't want to blow smoke up your ass too much.
Please do.
But there have been things that I introduced as VC in our group, and but I definitely don't think that that was adding to the stress. But I did think, especially as I left and we'd sort of said that Matt was going to take it over, and then 2 days later, I couldn't be like, "Oh, I'm coming back," and by the way, fuck you, Matt.
Bugger off.
Yeah.
No, but at the same time, mate, I think we've said that it will give you a chance. You don't have to worry about any of that sort of stuff. I know you enjoyed it and you were good at it, really good at it. But you can just focus on trying to lose a bit of weight and coming and turning up and playing football without the added pressure of having to do that. And if that just takes a little bit of pressure off, then happy days. And you might find that is the catalyst to give you that little boost to get going. And you can still do what you do. Do you know what I mean? You're still in there. It's not like you're not involved in any way, because you're a big part of our team and a huge influence over the guys. And you've been a fantastic vice captain for the last 2 seasons. So you'll always be an influence in that team, mate. So glad that you're still with us, buddy.
Yeah. Who's blowing smoke up whose ass now?
Yeah.
mutual respect, man.
Love it.
Mutual respect or a circle jerk, either one.
We'll save that for the awards, mate.
Yeah, you decide,
Yeah.
Speaking of, by the way, we've got a presentation this Friday, tonight for us on Lose the Wins listeners, because that's when they come out.
Yeah.
So anyone come along and get to play some football with some other people for a change?
Yeah, it'd be good fun.
All round robin.
Yeah, good
as
fun.
Well. And then we have our own awards to come to.
We do.
We like to.
We
discuss.
do.
If you're happy to move on to that, gents.
Yeah.
Before we get there, I will just like to say, because this will come up quite a bit, and I know some people in the community in particular, I can think of a couple who are fuming about this result. Is my golden boot / playmaker and all that kind of thing.
Do you want to do them first?
Yeah, sure. So the golden boot then. In third place, joint third with 12 goals this season, Bill and Dom. So Bill from the Purples and Dom.
Didn't you add Bill's from Friday? Because you got 2 on Friday. Did you not add those on?
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
Oh, you got 3 on Friday.
Did he get 3?
Oh,
well, he got 3.
Tell me this now.
I'm telling you now, that's like Lampard against Germany, mate, that goal.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was definitely. Yeah.
It's basically rippled the back of the net and still not counted, but not taken away from Harry, the ref, by the way, ref of the season.
Okay, I'll tell you what then, I'll be fair. So Bill could, in theory, have added to that total, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident I did add them.
Well, I think he had 12 before the last game, and he definitely got 2 on the last game.
If he had 12 before the last game, and that's my mistake, something to check, then if he got 2, then he would be joint second.
Oh, there you go.
14.
Be happy about
that. So third then would be Dom with 12. Harry and Bill would share second place with 14. And then with 15 goals this season in 14 games, would be Lewis and Jordan Hayter, who both shared that trophy.
Well done,
unfortunately, one of them isn't here this Friday to have a penalty shootout to decide the winner, because that's what I was going to set up, but against Ryan. But oh well, alas, they'll share a hearty handshake from me both. And we go from there, and maybe a little trophy.
Bill's goal that never was. Bill's Lampard-esque goal that never was. If it had gone in, he'd have been top scorer. He'd have been joint top scorer with the other 2. That's going to upset him even more. His nickname at the moment is Casper.
Yeah.
Ghost. Yeah. Oh man, ghost goals. Yeah. Oh well. So playmaker then. Let's move on to that one. So this one was a little bit more difficult to track. So I'll be honest, this is subject to human error. But as far as I'm aware, in third place, joint third with 6 assists, Jogs, Harry, and Paul Briggs from Arse Yellows.
Nice.
In joint second, myself and Jordan Hayter.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then Dom leads it with 11 assists this season.
Oh, wow.
Big up, Dom.
Yeah. And we say he doesn't pass.
And there you go. We say he doesn't pass. Clearly he does. Either that was just luck. He's just overrun it and someone's there to pick up the pieces.
Yeah. So congrats, Dom, on that one. In terms of the Golden Glove, this is a little bit lower scoring than that one. Jimmy, mate, you should have. I thought, why didn't you try to go and goal that last game?
He wanted to have a run.
Well,
out.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I wanted to run out for one. Right, I thought I was content. I was leaving, so I was like, I'll just give it to Ryan. Right, and I mean, technically, I kept clean sheet because I wasn't in goal, so I still think. I still think.
Again, you Casper's friend or something? 2 ghost clean sheets that you came up with.
I know. I'll allow it actually because I do believe that you've given me what you have given me one that
for doing 80% of the game in goal.
Yeah, which is
95% of the game. I think Ben played about
okay.
2 minutes at the end, and
I think it was slightly longer than that, but yeah, we'll give you that.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
So Jimmy, you were second place in that with 3.
Well done, mate.
Clean sheets, and then Ryan. All thanks to the wall of Neesus, that's Neil and Jesus. Nothing to do with him whatsoever. Keeping out shot after shot after shot of assault that he had on his goal all season.
Jesus.
Had 4.
Brilliant.
So we'll go from there.
Love that, mate.
It's funny, the Neesus wall was moved up top on Friday. It didn't work, not going to lie. It's nothing to do with them. It's nothing to do with them. Their ability is never the question. It was a case of they just personally couldn't bring themselves to let defending be so slack. So they then moved back themselves voluntarily. Got deeper and deeper all game. I thought it was quite funny.
I will say actually, having played up top last week, so that was the first time I've played, aside from obviously a Tuesday and a Thursday, which are very different over a little down. It was the first time I've played in a competitive game for a long time. Probably since before I broke my foot. The last game that I played would have been the one that I broke my foot in, and that was another part of the reason where I was like, maybe this isn't working for me. I was fucked, and I genuinely I don't know how you do it every week. I mean, I didn't even run around that much, but I was fully like.
Well, we nearly killed Martin as well. You nearly died. Martin nearly died. So Martin's our left back, bless him. And he said he used to play up top when he was younger. He used to play quite a high level, I think. He used to play quite a lot of football. And we nearly finished him off. He had to drop back after the first half.
I remember marking him like 5 minutes into the game, and he's like hands on knees, bent forward.
Yeah, God bless him.
I just stood still, just like okay.
Yeah. He went, no, I think I'll sit back for the second half. It's like, yeah, fair, mate. But Jimbo, you stayed up there, mate, and you stayed out there for the second half because you were going to go in for the second half, weren't you? But you stayed out and you gave it your all, son, and it was nice to see.
Anyway, on to the last thing I did track is a combination of goal contributions, as you would call it. So in third place with 17, there was Lewis from the Blacks, myself, and actually now that's a lie, so I'm going to exclude him. I'll move him up the list now. That would actually make Bill third place with 18, I should say,
done,
after our talk there. Harry then is second place with 20 goal contributions.
Wow.
And then at the top, another draw, which I'm sure Jordan in particular is going to be thrilled about, with 23, Dom and Jordan Hayter. So, yeah. So
nice.
It's pretty good going, 23.
Yeah, well done, lads.
You know, as you do. Shows you how effective they are on the pitch.
Yeah, 2 blacks in those top 3, so that shows you their pitch dominance.
Yeah. 2 blues and all.
2 blues. Where did
Jordan,
you end up in the pitch league then, Blues? Got 2 blue representatives on the pod.
I couldn't tell you, mate, to be honest.
Pitch
league, what's that?
You blew a bit hot and cold, didn't you? You'd go from being like pumping someone one week to getting pumped the next.
Yeah, it was a tricky one. I don't really know.
I'm going to check it out on the main website. Bear with, caller.
Yeah.
I mean, there was
Oh,
in
phone a
my
friend.
mind, it sticks out that there was a few weeks Harry was injured, so we lost him there, and Jordan couldn't make some. So there was a few weeks where we did lose our strikers,
Yeah.
and as well as a few weeks where we just didn't have the subs. So by half time, we were all pretty much blowing.
Mm.
Yeah, but we go again.
Been reset on the website.
Yeah, I was
Has
just going to
it?
say you're top of the league. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have to. You have to take some screenshots because if you don't, it gets reset and then you can't see what the hell's going
Yeah, I
on.
hope Steve sorted that, by the way, for his presentation.
Well, I
Got it
hope. Yeah, because we wanted to ask him about historical stuff, didn't we? If he's archived it over the seasons, because it would be quite nice to make some comparisons over the seasons as to who's finished where and what teams were where. It'd be quite nice to see for posterity's sake.
Although I will say on the Blues, it is all changed next season, isn't it, Connor?
Is
Damn
it?
right. New regime. Supreme leader Skirman in charge of the Blues next season.
of course. Yeah.
Gonna
Well,
run a
congrats,
tight
firstly,
ship.
by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
There's not much to say. I mean, I was vice for this season, and it's not. I don't want to come across like a prick, but there's not much to it, really, is there? Let's be honest.
You're right, mate. You're right.
You got to motivate the boys, which I've roped Harry into as my VC.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Harry. He can keep them happy, and I'll just tell Steve who's turning up. Easy peasy.
Good lad.
Well,
it's a very different place in that captain's chat than how it used to be. We were talking about it the other day, and in the first couple of seasons, it was a dark, dark place to be.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can hear
Steve's
from captain and VC of the winning Purples briefly on how you did, maybe. To have
we did.
to win
what as captains?
Yeah,
captains and vice captains.
What did you do? I know, Jimmy, you were just alluding to earlier about some of the things you came out initiatives for the team that obviously has helped propel you to a title.
I wouldn't say it's helped propel us to the title. I'd say that is a testament to the boys. I know that's a very prim and proper straight answer. Yeah, it is. But I mean, you look at, we said earlier, people like Matt, who's just lost weight every single week that he's ever been in the league. James has come in and done the same thing, and then you've got people like Mart, who's been up and down, but he's hit 5% this season. You've got Russ, who had been, has had his own struggles, and he's hit his 5% this season. You've got Matt Young, who's hit his maintenance this season. You've got Liam, who is there consistently every week, and even if he puts on weight one week, he'll come out and he'll score an absolute cracker of a goal. You've got, who's that player we play in midfield? I can't remember his name. He's really forgettable.
It looks a bit like a ghost.
Yeah.
Casper
Village. Of course we love Village. I just every single player in that team, I think, is testament to our title success. I don't think that there's anything particularly that I did or that Ben did that obviously we did what we could, but
we motivated, didn't we, mate?
Yeah.
It's like we spoke about. I mean, we could go on about it. We spoke about. I spoke about it last week on our pod about how what makes a good successful team, and you need to have a good balance. And there is a certain amount of luck involved, but you do need to have that kind of balance of a few players who are consistently losing weight. You've got to have a balance of players who consistently turn up on the pitch. So it just clicked this season, and we said we hit the. We took a while to get going last season, but when we did, we got there towards the end of the season. I think, to be fair, we went into the new season with a lot of momentum because we had the goals. The first couple of games we had quite a high goal ratio wins, which set us in good stead. And if you do have a good start, it's easier to maintain it. If you have a bad start, it's quite difficult to motivate the lads to get going again, to get back up, because your heads can go down. So we were quite fortunate from that point of view. But I would actually say, Jim, the stuff that you did, like your VC challenges and stuff, and being active in the chat all the time and getting motivated, helped people a lot. It was there were some good initiatives in there, and also the fact that everyone bought into the challenges, Josh, that you brought in. I think our team engaged with all of the ones that came along, so that helped us. I think it was a combination of stuff, and we're going to try our hardest especially now Jimbo's stayed on. We're going to try our hardest to try and get that elusive golden grail of taking those back-to-back titles, which has never ever been done. So we're going to try.
Yes, it's the usual. It's the FTP. You get along next season. Shut go.
Yeah. We've got the target. We've got the target on us. For some reason, we've had the target on our backs the whole flipping season anyway. So everyone, we'll just why change the habit of a lifetime, eh? We'll just.
By the way, Ben, I've been trying to get you to give away your secrets, but obviously, because you seem to win once every rotation, but as yet you have not done so. So we'll go.
Never done back-to-backs. No, never done back-to-backs. No.
Never done back.
Maybe it's this season. Maybe this is the one.
Yeah, well, yeah. Good luck, as I say. There's a lot of new motivation.
Very sincere.
Cheers, Josh.
Shall we move on to our lose to win specific awards, Benjamin?
Yeah, let's do it.
We have 10, just so that you guys know. We'll go through this. So we've got a few funny ones, a few that are laughing, and a couple of more serious ones that we've kind of really thought about, in 5 minutes before we started. These are things that we think they'll come to our heads pretty quickly, so we don't think we're going to struggle too much on some of these. First off, we're going to start off with the Phil Jones Award. Now, we've changed this because last time it was given for kind of a specific tackle.
In fact, Connor was the first winner of the Phil Jones Award.
Yeah, thinking back to against you, Ben.
Against me, buddy, yeah.
That is still brilliant, by the way. I still remember that. Honestly, hilarious. But just so brilliant at the same time. Yeah, so the whole Phil Jones thing about him heading the ball from some guy's feet, which I still think's brilliant. This one's more of a kind of give it all for the badge kind of thing.
Yeah,
for the team. There are many people in the league who can be done. There's Connor, you're one of them, and you were definitely mentioned on this one. Your brother as well. But we gave it to Dan Keats in the Yellows team for his very much do or die attitude to his pitch football. So well done, Keats, on that one. Yeah. I don't really have anything specific to say. I play with him every week, and he gets absolutely everywhere and commits 100%.
Do or die, Danny Keats.
Yeah, to everything.
Yeah,
so he was a pretty easy one to think of.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little bit biased, but because we see him all the time. But
I played with him from the start. From when we started the league, he was on our team, and I can wholeheartedly back that choice. He puts his neck, shoulder, ankle, hip,
often his
shin,
knee,
everything on the line for his team.
Yeah, very much so. He's been on the floor a bit, unfortunately, this season as well. He keeps getting caught quite.
He loves it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's our first one.
Very good.
Anyway,
okay, so next up we went for, it's a new one for us. I don't think we've done this one before, but this is our Gary Neville Award for personally comes out with the most cliches, either on the sideline or otherwise. And we thought we had a little think about it and thought, actually, because he's not here and he can't defend himself, we've got to give it to Super Jackie. We've got to give it to Jack Hayter. He loves the odd the cliche, and especially on the pod. But he's quite good at the odd spoonerism as well, which is always makes Steve laugh. I know. Jack, because you're not here.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he gives 110% to his football cliches, doesn't he?
Yeah. Football's always a game of two halves, right?
Yeah. Anyway, he's got a great bunch of lads with him to.
He's going to kill us.
Oh, he'll be sick as a parrot.
Just do the rest of it with only football cliches. I can't even think of him. Anyway, on to the next one. This is kind of a continuation, but under a different name now. The White Goodman Award, for anyone who's seen Dodgeball, by the way, for the best hair.
Yeah.
Feathered and lethal, as we like to call it. I think there's only really one person it can go to.
Yeah,
he mentioned it himself in the build-up for this. For his dyeing of your hair, Mr. Jimmy Murphy, mate.
Yes,
for dyeing your hair.
I reckon
Real
it
Slim
wasn't
Shady.
me, and I told you I was going to riot if I didn't get this.
We had to give it to you, mate. It was your.
Was it this season? It seems like so long ago.
I think it was
beginning of
very
the
early
season.
on. Yeah,
Yeah,
very
right
early
at the
on.
start, but yeah.
Jimmy's
But
bleach blonde.
it was quite the sight.
That was just one of your little impulsive things, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was.
Well,
But it
well
wasn't
done, mate.
one. It wasn't one that I could reverse the decision on 2 days later.
No,
Unfortunately,
quite.
so.
He could have shaved it off, but that might have been even
Yeah.
worse, to be fair. But well done, mate.
Going
You're in
through all
Hall
the
of Fame.
phases of Slim Shady there.
Yeah.
Mate, that was. But it was something to behold. Let's be.
It was. I liked it. I thought it suited
There
you,
are,
mate. I think you should do it again
there are
this
some
season.
good haircuts, in the league, though. I should say, I count myself among them. pretty standard. But there's a few like me,
There are.
bold men of the league. No, I'll try and grow it out, a bit like Bill Bailey. I tell you, at some
You
point,
should
I'll
do
do
that.
something. Might just for win it next year.
Does it do that? Does it grow around the edges? Just nothing
Yeah,
on
it will
top?
do definitely. Oh, mate,
Mate, you
that
need
was
to
me,
do
like,
that.
4 or 5 years ago when I
You look
felt
like
like
Terry
I could hold on
Nutkins.
to it.
Oh, that would be incredible, Josh.
Wouldn't it?
Oh, thing
I
of
would
dreams.
actually love that.
Oh,
Grow
it'd
a
be amazing.
skullet.
You need to skull it. You need to do that, mate.
Oh, and one strand combed over. Oh,
I think the great thing about it is I'll probably have 3 or 4 evenly spaced strands. The start
Yes.
and the back
Yes.
to be able to comb over. Oh man,
the proper Jackie Charlton.
I don't know. You're tempting me now.
You
Oh, you got to do it.
You've got to do it now, son. Okay, so the next one then, this is a new one. This is one we actually brought in specifically for this person because it was so ridiculous. And this is our Rodney Trotter Award for the biggest plonker. And
That's very diplomatic. I'd have worded that so differently.
And this had to go for somebody, and Jack spoke quite lengthily about it a few weeks back, and it has to go to Jordan Hayter for his falling in the river just before the match.
No, he didn't fall. He jumped.
So he
Both
walked
feet
in.
into the water.
Absolutely crying with laughter. So funny.
So poor
good.
old Geordie thought he was going to get an award for Golden Boot or most contributions, but actually no, biggest plonker. Happy days. Well done, mate.
Oh,
Absolutely.
To be fair, when
go
you
after that as well.
Oh, he may have. Yeah,
Yeah.
he may have.
Yeah, didn't you
Well,
have
then
somewhere quite like?
When you say that you gave it to him for jumping in the river, I thought that you were going to give him the award for the time that he missed a quite obvious chance and then just completely ripped his t-shirt.
Oh yeah, ripped his
open.
shirt off.
Oh,
Okay, you
yeah,
can have it
well.
for that as well.
Yeah, right.
Ripping his shirt off in a Hulk-esque rage,
Yeah.
and then jumping in the river before he's about to go on a stag do or whatever it was. Mad.
Yeah. Oh man.
Great work, Geordie. Loved it.
Yeah. Anyway, so our next one is the Swiss Army Knife or Utility Player Award. Goes to someone who can do it all, really.
Yeah.
Kind of just has played multiple positions throughout the season and does them all to a pretty decent level. So we've got some honourable mentions. So I think Liam is a good mention in this one for the Purples. I know he's played multiple positions for you guys, or maybe he's played the back quite a bit, but I know he can do multiple positions and do them well. Dave Durnley for the Blacks has been on several times.
Jordan in the river. That's amazing.
Oh man, fantastic.
I thought there was a picture of him actually in the river, but that's as good as we've got.
Oh man, that's brilliant.
That's fantastic.
Sorry, I interrupted. Let's get rid of that.
Worth it, mate. Worth it.
Oh, that's brilliant. Send me that, will you? So our Swiss Army Knife goes to Scott Hardy from the Reds, who I happen to know and have seen play pretty much every position, including in goal at one point throughout the season, and done all exceedingly well. We know what kind of player he is, so it's a difficult season I know they've had, and he's always been a standout among them. So congrats, Scott, for that one. I think
well, Scotty, well
Scott.
deserved. Yeah. So the next one up then is our Duracell Bunny, and this is for someone who's just constantly running around like a lunatic, always full of energy. And historically, we've given it to probably the more obvious choices. This one you probably wouldn't think is an obvious choice, but we like think that he is. He might not end up quite that way. He certainly finishes games not quite as he'd like, but certainly throughout the game he gives everything. He keeps going and going and going, and that has to be Super Adam White for the Oranges. Full of energy, makes a massive
Fully
run
agree with that.
back to front, and never stops until the end when he collapses and nearly dies.
I think I saw him crawling off the pitch at one point this season. I could be wrong there.
He does collapse at the end, but bless him, he gives his all, doesn't he? Christ, never stops.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next one then is Mr. Consistent. So in theory, it's a little bit like our Swiss Army knife, but for someone I know who every week seems to, those people who do like 7 to 8 out of 10 performances every single time they're there, just regardless. It's funny because we had a couple of people in mind for this, but I mean, I would imagine a few of them on the Blacks team. And so this one goes to Chris Cowan, who is sadly leaving us at the end of the season for the Blacks, who I literally have never been able to get the better of ever.
Yeah, totally.
I've literally just, he does the same things so brilliantly well all the time. But yeah. Man, it's so difficult.
It does it with such ease, doesn't it?
Someone just came to mind immediately for that one. So well done, Chris, mate. We're sorry to see you go.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Indeed. Come back soon, please.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So the next one, number 8, is our much famed Prima Donna Award, and we always give this out to someone who likes to have a bit of a bitch and a moan, or things don't quite go their way. They get a little bit upset, a bit mouthy, and there's been some very good, very worthy winners in the past. And this year, we had a little bit of struggle first, and then we went, no, actually, we've got one. And this one, of course, goes to Yellow's superstar keeper, Ryan Puttick.
He's going to love it. I'll tell you, he's going to love it. He's going to love it.
He's had a couple of episodes this season where he's thrown his toys out a little bit and got a little bit shirty.
Love you, mate.
And we know he's had some stuff to deal with, and we're only putting it. It's only meant in jest. So please, Neil, don't send me a torrent of abuse over text. Okay? And likewise, Rye, we love you, mate, and you make us laugh a lot. So that one's in jest.
The next one then is our most improved player. So this one's always quite difficult, I would say, because the improvement we see from multiple people, everyone really, but multiple people stand out throughout the season is quite incredible to watch, whether it's weight loss, whether it's on the pitch, or a mixture of both. It's always quite difficult. This one I think was a little bit easier made just by how incredible his season has been off the pitch. And I don't really think we could go anywhere else with this because, as we mentioned at the top, it's been made obvious on the pitch as well. And it goes to Mr. Josh Buxton for genuinely I don't think we see it all the time, that this was absolutely incredible to watch the improvement just week to week, let alone over the course of this 14-week season.
Yeah.
Night and day, as we say.
Another football cliche.
So just incredible, really. So congrats on that one, Josh, mate.
Yeah, well done,
deserved, and I'm sure your name will come up a lot more in the future seasons as well. Because
he won best newcomer last season for our awards, Josh. He won best newcomer, and so most improved. So he's on his way up. He'll probably be MVP next season. You never know.
He's a lovely soul as well. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he really is.
He deserves it for his positivity. And in the Blues chat, he's forever being positive with his walks and his step counts and all that stuff. He's engaged as well in our chats. So it's not just the performances. He's really kind of stepped up his game in terms of being ingrained in the team and the league. So
he's done a fantastic job. Yeah, bless him.
And I remember when he first started as well, his very first game, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying, because on his first game he fell over, like he was running and he just fell over. And I can imagine if I was in his position, you just want the ground to swallow you up. And he's gone from that to, I can't remember how many weeks ago it was, but he got his first goal on the pitch, and all of us were screaming his name for it. And you see the improvement all through his weight loss and it transfers on the pitch. So yeah, just a big shout out to Josh. Love him, lovely guy. Like Russ said, well deserved.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Nice one.
So that brings us to our final one, which is our MVP, who we deem to obviously be the most valuable player in the league. There could have been quite a few of these, to be fair. I mean, Matty Waterman won it last season, so we couldn't really give it to him again. He's had a tremendous season. There were a number of people who've had tremendous seasons. Gareth Hensby would stand out. James as well, of course, from the Super Purples. He's had a phenomenal season. There are plenty. I could go on, but one person we felt who's been so consistent from start to finish. Sadly, he's not going to be with us, but he is an OG. He's not going to be with us next season. He's an OG from day one, and he's been a huge, huge part of Manvy Bournemouth and will always be. I tried to get him to stay a couple of seasons ago when he was 11. He did, and he stayed on for another couple of seasons, and he's ended up winning the league last season, and he won 2 leagues of weight loss with the Greens. He's one of those people that is a really consistent and genuinely lovely guy to have around, and he will be hugely missed within the community on a Friday night, and that has to go to the one, the only Mr. Dave Durnley.
Yeah, absolutely well deserved again.
Absolutely. I didn't know he was leaving, so that is sad.
Yeah.
No, lovely bloke.
Well, he's a man of few words, and we've tried to get him on the pod many times, and he doesn't. It's not his thing. He doesn't want to be in that sort of position. He doesn't like the limelight. He kind of goes quietly about his business and does what he does in the background. And having played with Dave, when we were in the Reds, he's top guy.
Top guy. Always asks how you are. And means it.
Yeah.
Always says hello and gives everyone time. Great bloke. Love him to bits.
And he will be really, really sadly missed, I'm sure. So well done, Dave. So our MVP for Manvy Fat season 11, was it season 11? Super Dave. Yeah. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
Well done, Dave.
Congrats, Dave. I know.
Ledge.
Yeah, indeed. That's it for our awards on our Manvy Fat, our Lose to Win awards, I should say, specifically. From there, we admittedly didn't have anything particular we wanted to further discuss with you guys on the Lose to Win side of things, admittedly, unless you wanted to talk about some football briefly. My only question would be to you, football at Christmas, yay or nay?
A big yay. Absolutely. Massive yay.
Yeah. No Christmas breaks ever again.
No, that's bad.
No, that is bad. No, it's I don't actually like to travel to football because obviously it's a London-based thing and it's trains and everything is all often shite trying to get up there. The few times I've gone away to football in London over Christmas has been a right ball ache. But telly-wise, love it, all for it.
Yeah, defo.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to admit I am going to enjoy sitting down watching some football on the TV. Boxing Day is always a nice one.
Exactly. Specifically.
Perfect. Yeah.
So
maybe it's unanimous there.
There is one more football thing that I do want to mention, though, right? And it's from this week, right? Can and I'm not just saying this as a biased Bournemouth fan, right?
It was never handball.
Can you explain that decision to me? Because the thing is, right, if he scores the goal, they don't pull it back. Okay. Last time out, Bournemouth played Ipswich, and there was an obvious foul in the box. The advantage was played. Tavernier hits the post, and it doesn't get called back for a penalty. I really, really do not understand that handball decision against Tyler Adams because it doesn't change the flight of the ball. The West Ham player wins the header. If they score, it doesn't get pulled back. So I'm hoping that one of you maybe has a better understanding of it than I do. And I will fight you to the death on that as well.
I'm not going to lie to you, mate. I didn't see it, so I can't possibly pass.
I mean, I was there, but because it was the other end of the pitch, I didn't see it really that well. I've seen the replay a few times, and if I'm really honest, I was struggling to see where it connected with his arm, even from a slow-mo, because as you say, the direction of the ball didn't really change. I'm not really sure on that one, Jim. To be honest, I don't think you're going to get an argument out of me. I think maybe that's a bit biased, but genuinely, I'm not really sure. I think even Iriola said something about it after the game, didn't he? That they were told at the start of the season that they weren't going to be giving those kind of decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they've started giving them. And he's just like, hold on a sec. Don't tell us one thing if you're going to change your mind 6 weeks down the line, however long it's going to be. It's just so we just talk about consistency, don't we? I don't know, mate. I'm not going to fight you on this one. I'd love to be controversial just to have an argument for the pod, for the fans, for the content. But no, I can't really argue with you. I'm not really sure, but I've kind of got past the point where not that I care, but just where it's that bothering.
It'll all even out come the end of the
but,
season, right?
Well, I'm happy to stoke an argument. So,
Go on,
not about this subject, but Marcus Rashford. Right?
Oh, no.
Where do we stand? How much of a tool is he being at the moment? Do we care? How does he get out of his United contract? Who's in his ear giving him this advice because it's terrible? Do Man United just need to bin him off, take the loss? What do you reckon?
I think he's getting his ear bent from external sources, isn't he? Because this has happened over the last few seasons. He's kind of fallen from grace. It was at one point he was a shoe-in in the England squad and a main man at United, but the last few seasons it seems to have come a bit unstuck for him. And I'm wondering what the influence is that outside of the game and whether that is contributing towards it.
There's rumours in and around Manchester that apparently his behaviour is not that what it would be expected of him.
Yeah.
For his salary, for his stature, yada yada. So obviously there was the incident where he came back from New York. He was photoed outside Madison Square Gardens a couple of days before a Man United game, and so there's elements, it seems, of rumours around his persona in the region not being not being very becoming. Let your football do the talking. That's what I would say. It's like, if you want people to shut up about it, put a smile on your face and put a shift in on the pitch.
Devil's advocate on that one, I would just say he's still a young man who earns quite a bit of money. He's allowed to live his life a little bit outside of his game. I do get he's a professional footballer and his public, the fact that he has to, there's an element of he has to accept the fact that he's going to be widely scrutinised because he gets paid extreme amounts of money to do something he loves doing, which essentially at the end of the day is a game. But he still should be allowed to live his life. I don't necessarily say I agree with the fact that he's in New York 2 days before a Man United game, especially whereas that was basically when the new manager came in. I just, there are some elements, although in terms of who's in his ear and what he's actually doing and how he's falling from grace, I mean, I don't know. Not much else I can say. I think his family is quite heavily involved, his brother and things like that. And they've always been very vocal, I should say, on social media and things like that with fans and fan base accounts and various media.
He just hasn't looked like a happy soul in the Man United shirt for some time. He's been given all the trappings that should make someone happy and want to perform. And we all want to see a good Marcus Rashford in the Premier League and in an England shirt.
Yeah.
What do we do to make that happen? Do we get him? Does one get him out of Man United and playing for a side that can get the best out of him, or does he just toe the line with the new manager and the new regime at Old Trafford?
I mean, it's hard to know because the manager came out today, I think, and said, Rashford's come out and said he wants a new challenge, he's ready to move on, etc. But there's a new manager who's clearly trying to do something different. I know it's the same club and environment, so that's the argument probably. But what bigger challenge or new challenge is there to stay with your boyhood club under a new manager, under potentially new motivation to do well and go from there? I don't know. He clearly probably just needs to get out of the club. I think he probably feels that his time has come. It's a shame.
He said it. He's actually said it's time for a change. It's time to come out of the club. So
we obviously, as we'll come to, we talk about. Yeah.
But where would he go though? Who's likely to take him on?
Who's going to take him on with 350 grand a week wages?
Yeah.
So he either
and what team would he get into in the top if he's looking for a new challenge? Maybe he's in the top top 5 or 6 teams, where would he go?
Well, there's rumours of Saudi, but that would be the end of his England career.
Yeah, I mean, if he went there, then he's clearly not. The advice he's been getting in his ear is clearly not good, is it?
It's
I think he's going to prove this.
Yeah.
I think it'd be proven pretty poor advice, basically. I mean, it's not for me. We talk about mental health, we probably discussed this. For me, I'm more worried about what it is he's going on in his head.
That behaviour,
because he never. I don't think I've seen him smile in any photo. He's never seen an interview. I've never seen anything where I feel like, okay, I've seen a couple of training videos where he's having a laugh with a couple of the players, but he always seems to cut quite a serious figure nowadays, quite a forlorn figure. And it gets me a little bit worried, sometimes I think to myself, so obviously he's not enjoying it, whatever it is. And I think he just needs to find that love of football again, because I think he's probably just fallen out of love with the game a little bit. Anyway.
Fair. There you go. That's quite a comprehensive chat about that question.
But it's an interesting one. We'll see what happens, I guess. He's not in the squad again this week, so it could be January. As early as January they get rid of him. I don't think that'll be easy, but
I don't know how you convince, from a Rashford's camp perspective, how you convince a club that you're ready for another challenge and you'll hit the ground running. Because you're, like, to your point, you're not looking like a player who's got the bit between his teeth to come in and make a difference somewhere.
No.
Yeah. Well, I think people will probably I think some clubs will be prepared to take the risk that they know what he can do when he is firing and he is happy. Whether it's easy,
financially, how do they,
maybe,
unless there's a loan agreement where
he might go out on loan,
yeah, that's probably most likely, I would have thought, for January anyway.
We'll see, I guess.
Well, what we'll do, we will segue from this podcast over to ours. So if anyone who is enjoying this chat wishes to come over to episode 13 of the 23 MPH video channel, podcast series, podcast thing, whatever we call it, then come on over. But we'll wrap up your episode, lads. Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
And we haven't mentioned Jack's absence really, so that's good. We'll keep that. But thanks as well, Jack.
Cheers, Jack.
Yeah, thank you.
Big up, Jack.
Yeah. So, is that a call to? You want me to big him up? Is it now?
Yeah, absolutely.
It would have been very blue heavy if Jack had been here as well, so I think it was good to balance it out a little bit.
I'm the Lone Ranger here too.
You are, mate. You are.
Just on my own. But I'm sorry Jack can't make it. He's otherwise engaged. I know he would have loved to have been here, but and he would have given us a little bit more of a thought on some of the awards. I'm sure he would have. I'm sure he's going to love being given the Gary Neville Award, considering how much he loves the man.
Yeah, he absolutely adores
him. Yeah.
And United.
But thanks, Jack, for everything so far, especially in your effort for this pod.
Yeah, totally.
Well, we'll go from there. But thanks for everyone who's listening to this part of the pod, and catch you.
Enjoy the next bit.
23 MPH.
Nice.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.